Hey everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be a Pan That Palette final video. Sorry for the fact that I am literally in an oversized hoodie and no makeup, but I'm having a bit of a breakout and I also have a bruise on my middle finger, hence why my ring is not on the right hand, on the right finger. It looks a bit off-putting. Also, I did lose one of my gel polishes from this finger, so just ignore it. Yeah, as you guys may or may not know, because I haven't done updates for this in a very long time, my Pan That palette for this year was the Tarte Tarlet and Bloom palette, and I decided to do a Pan That palette this year instead of the Panos Eyeshadows Challenge. However, I would actually argue that I feel like I felt a lot more accomplished at the end of the Panos Eyeshadows Project Pan than I have with panning this palette, and it's not through lack of using this palette. So this is what my palette looked like at the beginning of this year, and this is what the palette is looking like now at the end of 2022. You can really see that this one up here, the shade Charmer, has had a big increase in the amount of pan. It's actually touching almost the edge of the, it's almost touching side pan now. You can also see that none of the shades have the Tarte embossing left on them. Well, almost all of the shades have no Tarte embossing left on them, minus this one, which has quite a prominent imprint still, and this one who has a faint one still. This shade down here, Funny Girl, has massive pan in, and that was not part of it. And hopefully you can see that just in general, the whole palette has some massive dips in it. And I am feeling accomplished with the amount of progress I've made. However, I just feel like I'm not going to make any more progress. I am filming this on the Sunday that this video is going up, and yeah, I just know myself and I know there's not going to be any more progress in this palette for the rest of the year. I actually am probably not going I'm not going to be using this for the rest of the year, just to take a break from it. And I also feel really under accomplished because I feel like I've put a lot of effort and time into using this palette, and you can't really see that much progress. There is loads and loads of product in these individual pans, so it does take a while, and because majority of these are matte, you're not going to see that bigger amount of progress that quickly in here. I feel like, disappointingly, I do wish that I had pushed more to at least hit pan on the two other shimmers to feel a little bit more accomplished. However, I do think I'm quite close on to pan on Leader, Sweetheart, Flower Child, and then I've got quite a good dip in Smarty Pants and Rebel as well. So there is dips, and there is huge dips in here, even like definitely in Sweetheart, if you can see that, and Leader down the bottom. This is just like the best angle that I can come up with to show you guys how deep those dips go. Like they're definitely getting there, especially Flower Child and Leader, if you put it in consideration too. Funny Girl, the depth of Funny Girl, we're really getting close. But yeah, I put a lot of time and effort and energy into using this palette this year, and I just feel like it doesn't really show. You guys may feel differently, but I feel like I feel a lot more accomplished, and I also feel like I've kind of neglected using other palettes in my collection because I've been trying to utilize this palette as much as I can, and I feel like I actually was enjoying using this palette a lot more, and the formulation in general of this palette, when I wasn't forcing myself to use it almost every day. I think moving forward, I'm going to stray away from doing Pan That palettes and definitely reconsider different ways that I can hit pan on my eyeshadow palette collection that I find fun and enjoyable and don't find fatiguing. Yeah, so look out for January to see what I'm going to be doing for my eyeshadows next year, because I do want to hit pan on more eyeshadows in my collection. However, I feel like this is just not the way for me to personally make progress in the amount of pans in my shadows, unfortunately. But yes, I have enjoyed using this palette this whole year. I've come up with some really lovely looks, very great for natural days, day-to-day days, and I think for the everyday person and the everyday consumer, this palette and this formulation is brilliant. However, for someone like myself with a bigger eyeshadow palette collection, I feel like I've neglected my collection trying to use this, and I do again have similar shades in other palettes, but other palettes where I kind of prefer the formulation, or I prefer the look overall that I can get from just using that one palette instead of dipping in between this palette and another palette. And I'm someone who really looks for a palette and how accomplished it is, so how it can create one look in an eye. And I tend to not really mix my palettes unless I'm doing Pan Nose eyeshadows, which is why I love that project, because it puts me out of my comfort zone. It gets me to mix my palettes together, and I really love the looks that I come up with, and it makes me be a little bit more creative. So yeah, I'm thinking that in the next year I will go back to Pan Nose eyeshadows, but you'll have to wait and see in January. But yeah, I have enjoyed working on this palette. I'm still going to keep it in my collection because I still do find it one of the key, like, very, very neutral toned palettes in my collection, and I do enjoy the formulation. However, I did not make as much progress as I thought I would in a year, and I am disheartened by that. But these are massive, massive, massive eyeshadow pans, so I know why. And yeah, there's not really much else to say. I feel like it's been a little bit of a failure, but there's always next year. And yeah, that is everything really that I have to say about this palette. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do like and subscribe to my channel if you're new at it, or let's see more videos from me, and I'll catch you guys all in my next one. Bye.